Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Landon Wiley here. We're going to talk about some severe weather in the Black Hills region today. All the counties outlined in pink are under a severe thunderstorm watch until 10 p.m. Mountain Time this evening. And that does include Fall River County, so that includes Edgemont, Hot Springs, Ulrichs. Hazard with these thunderstorms today and this evening will be 2-inch diameter hail and straight line winds up to 75 miles an hour. As you can see over here into Wyoming, you can see just into Converse County, Wyoming there. You can see that thunderstorm north of Douglas there. That is a severe thunderstorm warning. According to the National Weather Service in Cheyenne, that is in effect for another 29 minutes. That is set to expire at 5 p.m. Mountain Time. That is moving north at 25 miles an hour, so we'll go ahead and run radar. There's also another severe thunderstorm warning down into Nebraska for Sioux and Box Butte counties currently. So this is the radar animation, the live radar animation, and over the course of the last hour and a half. So you can see these are slow moving storms, but you can see that line, you can see this line right here forming into parts of Wyoming from Wheatland up back toward Casper. You can see that line forming, and eventually that's going to push off to the east and northeast. And as you can see by the lightning counter up here in the upper right hand, the lightning count, that's how many lightning strikes the Rapid City National Weather Service radar is detecting for lightning strikes right now. So back to live radar. This one north alright, so as you can see, the lightning counter just updated. So there's that severe thunderstorm warning also in effect for Box Butte, Scottsbluff, Morrell, and southern Sioux County in the Panhandle of Nebraska. That one's moving northeast at 25, so that will go into effect like areas like Alliance. If it holds together, that might get up to Rushville in a few hours. So a slight risk. So according to the Storm Prediction Center, let's turn some of this clutter off on the radar here. Hold on a second, turn on. Of course, some of my fancy tools are not going to work today. So for the severe thunderstorm in Converse County, well, let's talk about that for a second. So probability of hail is, so we're talking right here, probability of hail with that is 39%. Probability of wind will be 6%. Hail right around 1 inch, 0.79 inch diameter hail with that. Looks like there could be some rotation with that. Let's take a look. I'm looking at that thunderstorm from the Rapid City radar. So as you can see here, again, the greens are winds going toward the radar and the reds are going away from the radar. So this is telling me there is some weak rotation with this. but that could also be an indication of so the velocities are showing us winds. This tool here, that little spot of blue right here that I'm pointing to, that's actually a really weak area of rotation with that storm. So tornadoes are not expected to be a threat today. All right, there we go. So the area in yellow, as you can see here, the area in yellow is actually our slight risk for severe weather today. Okay. That, again, does not include the severe thunderstorm warning for over into Wyoming, Converse County, Wyoming. And again, tomorrow, we get we'll zoom out. So this area in yellow for tomorrow, this is tomorrow on Saturday. Once again, another risk for severe. And you can see this goes all the way over to the Jones-Lyman County line, down toward Winter, and all the way up toward Harding County. So this affects a majority of western South Dakota. That again is for tomorrow. Now you see the lightning counter has also detected 23 lightning strikes currently. Again, that is on the Rapid City radar. So if we go back to live radar here. All right. And then the other thing I would like to point out is there's kind of two areas of severe today that we're kind of keeping an eye on. The other part of this, as you can see up here into Montana, as you can see, this is off the Billings, Montana radar here. I'm having some issues with my lightning counter not updating here. We're switching. There we go. So as you can see, north of Billings here into Montana. So the severe weather threat goes up into Montana today. This is northeast Billings. You can see there's several severe thunderstorm warnings in effect up into Montana. Montana has also been currently experiencing some wildfire activity as well. Well, in addition to numerous wildfires going on up in Canada, which is where a majority of our wildfire smoke this past week has gone. I apologize for a second there. I was having an autofocus problem with my camera. Seems to be good. So this is currently, and you can see there's 270 lightning strikes with these storms in Montana. This is off the Billings, Montana radar. So that's one area of severe weather. And these storms are moving southeast at 35 miles an hour, 2-inch hail and 70 mile an hour winds possible. So these are a little more lively thunderstorms up into Montana. So if we take a look down here at the Cheyenne radar, you can also see there's one severe thunderstorm down here into just to the east of Denver International in Colorado there, or east of Denver. And that one's been a feisty little storm, as that one's actually been tornado warned earlier today. But it's not uncommon once you get out of the foothills east of Denver there into the plains to see some potential tornadic activity. So taking a look at this so the National Weather Service radar in Cheyenne is only detecting 106 lightning strikes right now. As you can see, each time I switch to the radar to a different radar, our lightning counter updates. So this is taking a look at that thunderstorm in the right around Scotts Bluff area. Like I said, that one's moving northeast. So that one will go into Alliance. That looks like that will right now miss Shadron. But you folks in Box Butte and Dawes County into the Panhandle of Nebraska need to be on the lookout for that. I see the National Weather Service in Cheyenne has updated the severe thunderstorm warning for Converse County for this thunderstorm north of Douglas. And you can see in the darker colors right here, it looks like there's a good little hail core right there. 60-mile-an-hour winds, quarter-size hail possible with that. Still moving north at 25 miles an hour. So as you can see, the area in red right here, that's where the hail core is, and that's kind of what I was figuring looking at the radar signature. I got this radar signature set up to detect hail, so once we get into the pinks and whites, that's going to be my indication on radar to me that the storm's spawning or producing hail. So this thing's, it just said that storm's producing quarter-size hail. So 56% probability of hail with this storm. So 56% probability of hail, 13% probability of straight line wind damage with this. Looking at 1.29 inch hail, so 1.25 inch hail likely with this storm right now. I mean, this is, and then there's another one. This one's not warned. But if you're on Highway 85, I mean, you can see Edgemont right here, Edgemont, South Dakota, and Fall River County. And then you can see, so we're going to talk just north. Here's Lusk in Niobrara, Lusk, Wyoming, in Niobrara County, Wyoming. So we're going to talk about this storm here just north of Lusk, right around Hat Creek on Highway 85. Looks like this one could be producing some hail too. 23% probability of hail. Looking at 0.67 inch hail. 4% wind. The National Weather Service in Cheyenne has just issued a new severe thunderstorm warning. And this is going to be for Niobrara and Converse counties until 5:30 p.m. Mountain Time this evening. Thunderstorm was 39 miles southeast of Wright, Wyoming, moving north at 30, 60 mile per hour winds and quarter-size hail. So, again, and my tools are telling me that this storm's still producing 1.25 inches hail, which if we took a quarter and a tape measure and measured it, you would find out the size of a quarter. Let's see. Actually, the new update on that storm is 67% probability of hail and 19% probability of straight line winds with a hail size of 1.5 inches. 1.54 inch hail coming with this, being produced with this storm. So we're going to animate the radar again. Oh, I can't, because of the fact I changed radars, it won't let me do a loop. My mistake. So I can't do that right now, animate the radar. So we'll have to let it update. So eventually these storms will get into the Black Hills. Again, so we're going to switch back to the Rapid City radar. Okay, so this is a kind of an interesting. So as you can see now, looking at these thunderstorms over here into Wyoming, you can see the Rapid City radar is now detecting 93 lightning strikes. So that number, so these storms are starting to get into the radar's range. They're starting to get closer to the radar site. So what I'm thinking is going to happen here is this storm right here into Converse County and Niobrara County, I'm thinking this storm right here is going to keep moving north into Weston and parts of into southwestern Weston County and into southeastern part of Campbell County. I mean, that looks like a pretty well organized storm. So this storm right here by Hat Creek, north of Lusk, I'm kind of waiting to see if they're going to upgrade that one to a special weather statement or to a severe thunderstorm warning, and I'm kind of waiting to see direction. That one might get into Fall River, the western tier of Fall River County. It might not. It depends if it's moving northeast or east. At this time, I honestly am not sure without watching the animation on radar on that. So right now, current conditions in the area, it's 65 degrees here in Custer, South Dakota. Winds are southeast at 9. Dew point is 58 degrees. Rapid City, the fog must have finally broken away in Rapid City because now it's up to 77 degrees with a dew point of 58. So the dew points are high. And when you start getting into the dew points into the low upper 50s or low 50s and even into the low to mid 60s, that's starting to get pretty humid. Once the dew points get above 60, in that 60 to 65 range, that's very muggy wet or moisture. I mean, that's muggy conditions. That's like the equivalent of being in New Orleans, Louisiana. So that's really, I mean, the dew points are high, which is a key ingredient. Having the high dew points means there's a lot of moisture coming in off the Gulf, which means these storms have moisture in the atmosphere to work with. Unfortunately, we did not have the warming today to, like was kind of projected, to fuel the thunderstorms. So the screen line, right here, that's a stationary front. So storms are firing. You can see the low pressure system. Up here into central Wyoming. But again, that's a stationary front. All right, National Weather Service in Cheyenne just issued a new severe thunderstorm warning. This includes Sioux and Niobrara counties. This does not include Fall River County. Okay, I repeat, this does not include Fall River County. So, and that's for that cell I was just talking about, right around Hat Creek, right around Lusk. You can see this new warning box right here. So the information we're getting out of Cheyenne is severe thunderstorm warning in effect for northwestern Sioux and Niobrara County in east central Wyoming until 6 p.m. At 4:48 p.m., severe thunderstorms were located along a line extending from Lance Creek, Wyoming to 50 miles north of Lusk to 7 miles northeast of Rawhide Buttes, moving northeast at 30. 60-mile-per-hour winds and quarter-size hail. So, right now, 56% probability of hail with this storm. And again, I'm focusing on this cell right here by Lance Creek. Or Hat Creek, excuse me. Lance Creek over to Hat Creek. It looks like the worst of that's around Hat Creek, Wyoming. Looks like 1.1 inch hail right now with this storm. So this one's moving northeast. So if any of my friends are in Edgemont, South Dakota, listening to me, you might want to be on the lookout in the next 2 hours for this thunderstorm. I think it's going to hold together. I mean, it's going to be 7, 8 o'clock before any of these thunderstorms reach the Custer area. I mean, there's still several hours out, but you can see there's a line trying to get going here. You can see that from into you can see there's a line trying to get going. There's a pretty good cluster of thunderstorms out here into Wyoming right now. So we got 3 severe thunderstorm warnings right now. And again, we're looking at this from the Rapid City radar. And you can see the Rapid City radar it's right here's where the Rapid City radar is. So the Rapid City National Weather Service radar is just north of New Underwood. So that's still quite a bit of distance. Max range on the radars are roughly right around 200 to 250 miles. Alright, looks like they allowed one of the severe thunderstorm warnings to expire, or they canceled it. Again, there's a couple different, so that one's all coming out of the National Weather Service office in Cheyenne. These thunderstorms have not crept. They're right on the line of the south of the Rapid City National Weather Service office. So we're going to go ahead and switch back over to the Cheyenne radar. You can see the severe thunderstorm watch goes all the way down to Denver International. Looks like just down by the northeast part of Denver there. So to zoom back in on these thunderstorms, so look, I'm going to show the radar range. So this thunderstorm right here, just east of Bill, this one's actually now has left. This one has actually left the radar range of the Cheyenne radar. So this one is being picked up by the Rapid City radar at this point. So, alright, so back to the Rapid City radar, because that's going to give us our best look at things right now. So, again, there's 2 severe thunderstorm warnings ahead of a stationary front. You can see lightning counter, (101) lightning strikes being detected by the Rapid City radar right now. So again, we got 2 severe thunderstorm warnings. This storm by Hat Creek, that's 1 of 2 storms I'm launching. I think this one 15 miles north of Lusk here, right around Hat Creek. That's the one I strongly believe is going to creep toward Edgemont. So at this point, there is no current severe thunderstorm warnings in effect for the Black Hills area. Storms are expected to reach the Black Hills by 7 o'clock this evening, probably in that 7 to 10 p.m. range, so during the evening hours after dinner, but still need to be on the lookout for severe weather because we're going to be doing this, folks, we're going to be doing this again tomorrow. We're going to be doing this again on Sunday. We're going to be doing this again on Monday. So this is day one of the next 4 days, counting today. The next today, tomorrow, Sunday on Father's Day, and on Monday we're talking risk for severe weather here in western South Dakota. So again, Fall River County, you're under a severe thunderstorm watch until 10 p.m. this evening, Mountain Daylight Time this evening. We're going to see, as these storms creep up closer to Fall River County and into Fall River County, if the Storm Prediction Center is going to kick this or expand this watch further north, they might extend the watch north to include a few Black Hills counties. I don't know if that's going to happen yet. I haven't looked at the information from the Storm Prediction Center to tell if they're going to do that or not. Let me just look at some information on that. I'm not 100% positive they have came out with that information, but let me look quick. So we're talking this thunderstorm right here by Hat Creek. There's this one just to the east of Lusk. It's this one right here by Hat Creek, about 15 miles north of Lusk, that I think will affect the Edgemont area. So at this time, there's no current discussion from the Storm Prediction Center as far as expanding the watch. At least as of right now, there's not any discussion of it. So with that said, we're going to keep an eye on this. Right now, it's just 75 lightning strikes right now. It's moving northeast at 27 knots. Max wind gust is 52. So you're looking at roughly moving east at 25 miles an hour. Wind gusts right around 50. With it, let's turn one of my tools back on here. Let's see. So currently 41 for the storm by Hat Creek. We're currently talking a 41% chance of hail, just under 1 inch with this storm. So, okay. So as you saw, the radar just updated there. As you can see, that is pushing toward the northeast. Looking over so for this thunderstorm along the Niobrara-Converse County line here, we are looking at 75% probability of hail with a 1.5 inch hail size with it. That one's going to primarily stay in the rural areas of eastern Wyoming. It's, like I said, it's this storm. All right, so my information, my data just updated here on me. So 8% probability of straight line winds. 0 or basically 1-inch hail. Let's just kind of see what the shears are doing with this, because this is going to be a tough one to look at. Looks like that storm into Converse County might have a little bit of spin to it. Nope, I was wrong. So what we're looking for with these tools, or with this tool, we're looking at areas of rotation. And when we're talking rotation, we're trying to see if there's any probability. It's weak rotation, 0% probability of a tornado. But as you can see here, there's still areas of weak rotation. You can see that with the green in the blue right here to the northeast of Lusk. But again, that's looking at it from the National Weather Service office in Rapid City. So I see into Nebraska, the National Weather Service in Cheyenne just issued a new severe thunderstorm warning down here into the Panhandle. It was 12 miles east of Scotts Bluff, moving east at 30. 1-inch hail with that. So right now it's still 65 degrees here in Custer. So it's still 65 in Custer, nothing going on here. Again, all the storms are off to our southwest right now. So that's what's going on with our weather at this point. You can see the lightning counter detecting the lightning strikes. These numbers up here in the upper right hand corner, that's just telling me how many warnings there are nationally right now, including 11 severe thunderstorm warnings. Two of them are right here in the Converse and Niobrara counties in Wyoming. At this time. So again, severe thunderstorm warnings are in effect for Converse and Niobrara counties in Wyoming. At this time. So I don't know at this point. I mean, again, you see the radar. All right, we're going to go ahead and just run the radar loop. Again, this is looking at it from the National Weather Service office in Rapid City. So you can see that the storms are moving in that easterly, north by northeasterly direction at this time. So this is over the course of the last 45 minute, half hour to 45 minutes. But you can see they are working their way towards the Black Hills. I mean, last night we had a non-severe thunderstorm into the southern parts of Custer and Fall River County. Last night, right along the county line, produced some lightning, a lot of cloud-to-cloud lightning, no hail, pretty good rain with that. And then this morning, in a really thick area of dense fog really blanketed Pennington County, including the Rapid City area, and visibility was down to, in my opinion, less than a quarter of a mile. There was multiple significant accidents at a intersection in Rapid City this morning. Two major accidents at the same intersection because of the fog, in my opinion, was you couldn't see oncoming traffic, you couldn't see the stoplights. I mean, it was not a pretty sight, folks. It was a very dangerous situation there this morning in Rapid. But looking at the temperature, it looks like the fog has cleared because temperatures have warmed up to almost 80 degrees. It's 82 right now in Gillette, Wyoming, with a dew point of 62 degrees. That's pretty muggy air. That's a lot of moisture. You got the combination of heat, you got the combination of moisture coming into Campbell County. So that's part of the reason why you got the storms firing into Montana right now. So this severe thunderstorm warning, that is in effect, and we're talking the severe thunderstorm warning for western Sioux County and Niobrara County. That's in effect until 6 p.m. Mountain Time. So you're still looking at another 50 minutes on this. But, I mean, this is, like I said, if you're in Edgemont, you need to be on the look. You need to keep your eyes open for this storm, because I think it could get there or just clip the edge of town and you might just get rain. Speaking of rain, let's see what the storm rain totals are showing. So areas in green here, radar's actually, this is looking at from the Rapid City radar once again, and you can see right where the cutoff of the radar is. You can see that with the cutoff of the information on radar right here. You can see that. I have to step out of the camera shot a little bit to point that out. But the green is showing half-inch, blue quarter to a trace to a quarter of an inch with that. So, and currently in Newcastle, it's 79 degrees. So sun's out in Newcastle. Sun was out earlier today here in Custer, and then cloud cover and some of that fog actually came back this afternoon. Which I really thought with I thought it would have warmed up more than what it has here in Custer. Temperatures actually dropped about 5 degrees since 11 o'clock this morning here in Custer. It was up to 69 at one point, closer to 70. Now it's actually dropped back down to 65. So we're just kind of waiting, watching, seeing what's going to happen here over the course of the next couple hours. These storms may hold together, they may dissipate. I'm really thinking that these storms are going to, hit that really warm, moist air, and then they're just going to go off like a loaded gun. Here's what I'm thinking. So these storms are going into a really prime atmosphere, I think, folks. I think they're really going to do something here later on, but they're not expecting to become extremely violent, but small hail can still do property damage. And just to remind folks at home that are watching, even though tornadoes are not expected, severe thunderstorms can and do produce tornadoes with little to no warning. But the primary threat today is going to be that 60 to 70 mile per hour winds hail maybe up to 2 inches. I'd say maybe, because I haven't seen a storm yet out of these storms produce 2-inch hail. They've been producing 1.25, but like I said, they haven't hit that warming mechanism yet. So I think these two storms are still in a developmental phase. I really think these two storms are still in a developmental phase. Okay, lightning counter just jumped up to 79. So, again, lightning counter, see that's up to 79 lightning strikes right now. I mean, that updates every couple minutes for us, automatically updates, so I'm not doing any updating. The only time I gotta update that is if I maybe change radar sources. So, again, and it looks like I do have some updates here from the office in Cheyenne. We'll start with Converse and Niobrara counties. This one is in effect till 5:30 p.m. See if there's any new information on it. Nope. No, I thought there was new information on it, but it's not. I'm just currently waiting for updates here. They are, so let's go ahead and just zoom the radar in here. Alright, so you can see, I'm going to walk across the screen here for a second. Okay, so you can see Edgemont right here. I'm actually thinking, watching the movement of this cell, I'm actually thinking the worst of this is going to go toward Provo to the south of Edgemont, is what I'm thinking. Edgemont, you're still going to see some moderate rain, maybe some 1/4-inch hail with this storm, and also probably some lightning. As you can see right now, 115 lightning strikes being detected by the Rapid City radar. That's not what this, that's what all the storms the Rapid City Doppler radar is currently detecting right now. So we're going to turn on a couple, or one of my other tools here. We're going to go ahead and animate this while we're doing so. We're going to turn on a probability of severe, oh, hold on. The National Weather Service in Rapid City, we're going to stop the animation here. The National Weather Service in Rapid City, okay, this is interesting. Well, let's talk about this. So, all right, so let's talk for a second here. The National Weather Service in Rapid City has issued a considerable severe thunderstorm warning. So this has actually been upgraded, folks. Meaning this storm is strengthening, which required a more stronger warning criteria. So something new this year for flash flood warnings, severe thunderstorm warnings, and tornado warnings, there's actually new warning criteria. So what the National Weather Service is saying, and as you can see, this does include Edgemont. As you can see, the warning box goes right to the Custer Fall River County line. You can see right here, there's Highway 18. There's the junction right there of 18 and Highway 89. All right, so what they're saying This is in effect until 6:15 p.m. Mountain Daylight Time. At 5:12, severe thunderstorms were located along a line extending from 5 miles northwest of Redbird to 18 miles west to Montrose to 5 miles west of Harrison, Nebraska, moving northeast at 40. All right, so this is this has gone from moving at 25 miles an hour to 40. So it's getting, as I said a little bit ago, this is getting into a little more riper wet atmosphere, so they're going to start intensifying now as they get into South Dakota. Hazard with this wind is 70 mile an hour straight line winds. 70 miles per hour. 70 miles per hour. So, locations and quarter size hail. Locations impacted include Edgemont, Provo, Ardmore, Rumford, Cascade Falls. So, wind threat is radar indicated, max wind gusts 70 miles an hour, 1 inch hail. This is thunderstorm damage threat is considerable with this. So, let's take a look at this. So they're saying this storm's going to, and you can see this storm down here by Harrison. Here's Harrison, over here into the northwest part of Sioux County. But so they're basically what they're looking at. What the folks at the reps, they're looking at this part of the cell right here. This part. This is the strongest part. That's your hail core. As you can see, right here, that's your hail core, folks. It's not showing, it's just showing hail. Not showing large hail yet. Let's look at the velocities. What's that telling us? All right, so National Weather Service in Cheyenne just issued a new severe thunderstorm warning. That would be for Dawes, Box Butte, Sioux, Scotts Bluff, and Morrell counties. All right, let's go back to live radar. We might have to switch back to the Cheyenne radar. Or do I need to go to the north? No, yeah, that'd still be... This is kind of a toss-up in my opinion, because you could kind of start looking at this from the North Platte radar, but it's still technically in the Cheyenne's jurisdiction. But I think in this green line in the center of your screen here, or into Nebraska, so we're looking at this from the North Platte. There's that stationary front that shows how far to the south that's banking. But that's your driving force. See, the North Platte radar, it's a little far to tell. This is kind of a gray area here because, I mean, this is looking at these thunderstorms in the Panhandle to our south into the Panhandle of Nebraska. But you can see up here from Redbird all the way down to Bridgeport, Nebraska. You can see right through here. There's a whole line of thunderstorms forming here. There's that line of thunderstorms forming. This is all moving off to the northeast. So eventually this is going to work its way up into South Dakota, into the Panhandle, and come up from the Panhandle. Well, this is going to work its way up into western South Dakota. But at this point, I do not. So I do think they will extend the severe thunderstorm watch. I do think it will be extended in area and time length. I'm guessing they'll probably extend it to midnight, I'm guessing, because right now it's in effect till 10. They might extend it till maybe 2 a.m., depending on what these storms do. But I do anticipate, kind of looking at radar here, I'm anticipating Custer, Ogallala, Lakota counties, probably Pennington County to be added to this severe thunderstorm watch. I'm thinking probably into Jackson and Bennett counties as well. So I think this whole southwestern part's eventually going to be in a severe thunderstorm watch here soon. I have not seen anything confirmation-wise from the Storm Prediction Center yet about that. Let's switch back to the Rapid City radar. So we need to start paying attention to what this thing's doing here. So we're gonna, all right, whoa. So when I switched back to the radar, or you just saw I was looking at 93 lightning strikes off of on the lightning counter. That was off the Cheyenne radar. Now we've gone up to 177 lightning strikes off the Rapid City radar here. So again, Fall River County, you're under a considerable severe thunderstorm warning. This includes Ardmore, Rumford, Provo, Edgemont. So we're just not quite to Angostura Reservoir yet. I mean, it's going to be close to the west side of the lake, creeping up along Highway 71. Okay, so another thing I'm kind of watching here with this cell, as you can see right here, right around Redbird, right still on Highway 85, you can see how that storm is kind of back building toward the northwest. So this storm is intensifying. Looking at colors here, I think you got a hail producer here, folks. That's what I'm seeing here. Let's see if my theory holds up here. Yep, it held up. So again, areas in red. Okay, so our two areas in red. We got one right here along Highway 85. Right around Redbird, there's one pocket of hail, and then the other one's right here. This is the larger pocket of hail. I think this one could get to Edgemont. I mean, so going back to the radar. Okay, now look at this, the lightning counter. Let's go to that. Because now it's jumped from 177 all the way up to 255 here. So there's lightning strikes coming down with these storms too. But as you can see, right here on the radar, it's moving into Fall River County. It's moving into Fall River County. So you folks in Edgemont need to be on the lookout for this storm. This storm is coming your way. Looks like there is also some spin with that. Let's see what the velocities are showing. Looks like more straight line wind. Let's look at our rotation. We do got a couple pockets of weak rotation right along the Nebraska, Wyoming, South Dakota line. There's one. Then there's another area of weak rotation to the east of Highway 85 to the southwest of Redbird right now as well. All right, back to live radar. So again, the National Weather Service in Rapid City has issued a considerable severe thunderstorm warning until 6:15, which is in effect for another 45 minutes roughly. So we're going to go ahead and turn on one of my other weather tools here. All right, so what we're looking at, here with this is 70% probability of hail, 1 inch in diameter. Threat of straight line winds are 22% right now with this thunderstorm right here. So you can see it circled right now. Let's just see. Looks like there's a pretty good amount of lightning with that, so I'm surprised by. Alright, there we go. So as I suspected, so the new update with that cell right here is now you're up to now a 66 probability of hail. 66% probability of hail. So that's more than 50%. So still looking at right around 1 inch hail with it. Probability of straight line wind damage is 19% with this storm. Again, so basically, we'll run the radar loop. We'll move the lightning counter. All right, so at this time, I do not see the warning being extended into Custer County. The storm's going to have to, as you can see by the end of the radar loop here, the storm's just now getting into the extreme southwestern part of Fall River County, right here. So, but there's still a pretty healthy thunderstorm coming into Fall River County. Again, my friends in Edgemont that are watching, you need to get prepared for this storm because it's coming. 40 miles an hour. It looks like a pretty healthy, well-organized thunderstorm. So once the storm gets closer to Edgemont, I think then you're going to see the extension of the warning into Custer and parts of probably Pennington counties. So storms are moving in a northeasterly direction. North by northeast. You can see that by radar, but this is our threat for the southern Black Hills. This is it right here. There's a lot of humid air here in the Black Hills. I don't know if it's warm enough to keep these things going, but there's a lot of moisture in the atmosphere for this to draw off of. Okay, so one other tool I want to take a look at here. Go back to live radar. As you can see, 263 cloud ground lightning strikes. One other view I want to look at here. So we're looking at the echo tops. We're looking at the tops of the clouds here. You can see right down here in Sioux County, you can see that's pushing close to 50,000 there. A lot of these so most of this line's in that 40,000 range. Once they get into that 50, pushing 60,000, they can start dropping some large hail when the tops of the clouds start talking that height. So there's definitely some room for hail to grow with these storms. So go back to live radar. Looks like it might be weakening a little bit. Let's zoom out a little bit, see what's... Kind of look at the bigger picture here. So, I do not, at this time, I do not expect this line of thunderstorms coming into Fall River County. I expect that to stay to the south of Custer. You might get some, you folks in Custer might see some rain later on this evening, but you're probably going to be talking somewhere in between 8 and probably 10 o'clock this evening, and that's all I think it will be for folks in Custer watching me, is rain. For my friends in Hill City that are currently watching this, I'm thinking you might see a few rain showers at this time, but I don't anticipate anything severe for Custer and Hill City. Both Pennington and Custer counties might be included in a severe thunderstorm warning, but that does not necessarily mean your town's included in the warning or threat area. Okay, so once again, severe thunderstorm warning remains in effect until 6:15 for Fall River County. For this guy right here, looks like it's, from this angle, it looks like it's maybe has weakened a little bit. Let's turn on our storm report, see if we get any storm reports here. No. And we got one in Sioux County for a 1-inch hail. 77 degrees Newcastle, still 65 Custer, still 82 in Gillette, 78 Casper, so I'm kind of thinking, looking at the current returns on radar, I think they're probably going to downscale this threat, because I'm not seeing much on radar here. I'm not seeing much on radar that makes me think that this is a considerable threat. There's still a threat here, obviously, for some wind and hail, but I'm not seeing anything considerable, at least at this time. I mean, even looking at the winds, that's not really telling me anything I need to really be worried about. So I think this considerable, the storm's going to move into, is currently coming into Fall River County. So warning will remain in effect. I don't know if they're going to replace or downscale this with the special weather statement, but in order for that to happen, the storm has to weaken below severe limits, which means winds would have to drop below 50 in that 40 to 55 mile an hour range. So again, this is what we're watching. No threat to Custer, no threat to Hill City. Edgemont, you need to be on the lookout for some lightning, some small hail, and maybe some 60 mile an hour winds with this. I know the warning says 70, but I'm not seeing any indication at this time that makes me believe this storm is producing 70 mile per hour winds. 50 to 60, I think, is more realistic. So, with that being said, I see an update out of Cheyenne here. Says that whole line's moving east at 12 miles southwest of Provo. South Dakota, 6 mile, okay. Moving east at 30, 60 mile an hour winds and quarter size hail. So that update from the Cheyenne office confirms my thought process of this storm weakening a little bit. I mean, there's still a lot of moisture for it to work with, so still be on the lookout. So again, you can see Custer right here in the top, right here, or in the center of your top center of your screen. And like I said, with everything moving in a east-northeasterly direction, there's not much threat here for the city of Custer. Again, I do expect this rain down here maybe to affect Hill City and Custer later on this evening. But other than that, I don't see anything alarming here for Custer. Like I said, the main threat's going to go into Fall River County, into the Edgemont area. So, well, that's the update. If something new develops, I'll jump back on air to provide an update. But right now, severe thunderstorm warning remains in effect for Fall River County until 6:15, which is still 45 minutes out, essentially. So, with that being said, I'm Landon Wiley. Have a good evening.